Good afternoon, Capital Region. This is Dayton Maxwell, Farm Business Management Educator with the Capital Area Agriculture and Horticulture Program, coming at you again from my basement. It's been a number of weeks. I'm not sure how many weeks. Happy July 4th weekend. Hopefully I'll see you on your farm soon. I'm going to talk to you about three things this week. You can see them in the background here. The Paycheck Protection Program with regard to loan forgiveness, some kind of wild things that are going on in milk markets, and also Cornell workforce development updates. So here we go. Let's get started. Most of you recall that in early April, as a result of the global pandemic thing, Congress passed what was called the CARES Act. And as part of the CARES Act, there was a program called the Paycheck Protection Program, which was designed to keep employees employed, and it gave business owners funds to pay employees to keep them on the books. That program officially came to an end on June 30th, and part of that program was a stipulation that if you use the money for things like paying your employees, rent, utilities, and mortgage interest, then the loan can turn into a grant or essentially be forgiven. So now at this time, banks are accepting loan forgiveness applications. So the bank that you work with to get the funds, they're now accepting loan forgiveness applications, essentially turning that loan into a grant, forgiving that loan. The forgiveness applications are available on the Small Business Association website under PPP, and there's a nice set of instructions that go with that. So check it out. The next thing that's going on, I've been working on or talking to farmers about this week, is with regard to milk pricing. So if you're not a dairy person, just hang with me for a few minutes. It won't be too painful, and I'll try to make it as simple as I can. With regard to milk pricing on farms at the farm gate in the United States, milk is priced through things that are called federal milk marketing orders, and they're designed to move milk from areas of production, which is rural areas, country areas generally, to areas of consumption, which are city areas where populated areas where the people are. The federal milk marketing orders determine what's called, you can see it right behind me, what's called, I've written down a uniform price, but on the paperwork it's called a statistical uniform price. And what that price is kind of a combination of the values of how that milk is used, whether it's used for fluid milk, which is drinkable, yogurt, ice cream, cheese, or dry manufactured products, which is often exported out of the country. So think of the uniform price as just a value that's determined by how that milk is used within the federal order, which is a number of things. Once that uniform price is determined, then from that uniform price, the cheese value is paid to farmers, and we think about in that cheese value is the price of protein, butter, fat, and other solids. But for the non-farm, the non-dairy person, just think about, okay, we got a uniform price in this geographic area. It pays the farmers the cheese price, and what's left over is generally called a producer price differential, and this goes toward the value of the non-cheese items to pay farmers for, so the fluid milk, the yogurt, the ice cream, the non-fat dry, things like that. All right, so just for our purposes here in this talk right now, just think of a simple accounting equation: uniform price, pay the farmers the cheese price, and what's left is the PPD, which is used to pay the other uses of milk. Now this crazy anomaly is going on, which is directly related to the global pandemic thing, and that's that cheese prices are rebounding tremendously fast because the economy is opening back up and restaurants are opening, and they're using cheese to, put on cheeseburgers and pizzas and things like that, right? So anyway, that cheese price, the class 3 or cheese price has become higher than the uniform price, which is wild. So if you look at the equation, the uniform price minus the cheese price equals a producer price differential. that creates a negative producer price differential. So farmers are receiving on their milk checks a producer price differential that is negative, which is essentially being caused by really high cheese prices that are accelerating due to the reopening of the economy faster than the remaining products, or the remaining dairy products in the order, which is creating a negative producer price differential. Driving dairy farmers nuts. Should turn around in 2 to 3 months. Hang in there. If you're a non-dairy person, thanks for sticking with me on that deal. Cornell Workforce Development website. Check out that page. There's some new information. Governor Cuomo has made some guidelines for essential workers that were in other states and are coming into New York State. Okay, because as we know, other states have reopened and they've had a resurgence of the virus, and want to make sure that those essential workers coming in and working on farms aren't carrying the virus and spreading it to other folks in New York State. So take a look at the website. There's guidelines there if farm workers are coming in, such as quarantine for a specific amount of time, social distancing, all the kind of stuff we've been working on. So that's it for this week. Thanks for sticking with me. As always, it's my pleasure to serve you. Apply for loan forgiveness, think about the wild milk markets, and check out the Cornell Workforce Development website. Have a great weekend.